Now get yourself tuned mentally again. We are, you can say, counting down, towards the end of Ramadan and our last session. And I know some of you are tired, and you can say your mind is drifting here and there. And when brother said that we are going to be using your phone, inshallah we will use it during the session, but not now. So inshallah you can put them away. So the brothers can come forward just a little bit, yes. And before we begin, I'm going to invite Brother Imran to read a naat for us, and inshallah then we will discuss about the program, about aftercare and mentoring, and how you can be looked after as individuals after you leave this 10 days of Itikaaf. So brother.
Inshallah, it's just a basic salawat that we can recite together for barakah as well. So, inshallah, we. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin an-Nabiyil Ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin an-Nabiyil Ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin an-Nabiyil Ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin an-Nabiyil Ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin an-Nabiyil Ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyid al-Anbiya'i wal-Mursaleen wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een, amma ba'd. So this is not really a bayan or lecture as such. This is more to talk to you about our aftercare and mentoring plan. So after, we're not going to leave you on your own, because we know brothers are just they're feeling very motivated now, very inspired. But as soon as, like Ustadh has mentioned, Eid comes, all the shaitans are back out. So as well as giving you the tools, we want to give you the backup as well, just in case your tools get a bit weak and you need to call the boys. So we've got enforcements for you as well. Okay, so we're not just leaving you on your own as a one-man soldier. We're giving you a full army to help you out as well, inshallah. So we're just going to explain to you basically how the mentoring works. So some of you have already had one-to-ones with the Ustadh, so you're very familiarized with it, but that's while you've been here. So now we're going to explain to you how this works on now long-term, lifetime, which obviously inshallah once a person goes through the past, inshallah they themselves inshallah become a mentor. But up until then, we just want to tell you the path, the plan, how it's going to work out. Just before we go on that, like Ustadh mentioned, that you have got your tools, you have got your weapon. We just want to do a very quick recap just to make sure, and I know we've done it so much, but I'm doing it so when you do leave you never forget. It's like, if your livelihood was based on a sword, you're not going to forget that sword anywhere you go. If you're a delivery driver and your livelihood's based on a van, if you had to feed your family with that van, you're going to look after that van. You're never going to lose those car keys or those van keys, are you? So if you're a takeaway is your livelihood, the keys of that takeaway, you're not going to lose it. So same way you could say these weapons we've given you, this is your spiritual livelihood, which is more important than the physical livelihood, because once that's gone, once that test's finished, then the real, you could say, life starts. And if you've not got the tools for that place, then it's going to be very difficult for us to enter into paradise, to enter Jannah. So for that reason, I'm just going to go over a quick recap on the 5 Amals, just a very quick fire. So we'll start with Brother Zain, mashallah. Number 1 is the zikr. What zikr are we given?
Zikr.
Yeah, how long for?
20 minutes.
20 minutes. And Brother Jawad, could you explain the methodology of the zikr?
So you begin with La from the stomach.
Okay.
Then it goes up to Ilaha from the mind.
Okay.
So you got to imagine, you know, all the darkness from the stomach is coming up to your mind and then going out of your mind. And then it's Ilaha going down to the heart, Illallah to the heart where there's...
That's Sham yours. Yeah.
Then you got the Ilaha going down to the heart, and then you got the Illallah, which is like the light coming down from the mind to the heart.
So say it one more time. You got La.
La.
It's
So La from the stomach going up.
okay.
That's imagining all the sins are and the darkness coming from the stomach up to your mind.
Okay.
And then you got the Illa, which is in your mind.
Okay.
And
So what you might when you're doing Ilaha, what are you imagining?
so you imagine like the darkness is going out your mind,
Okay.
but at the same time like God's name, like the light's coming down.
Okay.
Illallah going down to your heart and you know enlightening your heart.
Okay. Yeah. So this process starts again. Yeah. So anyone confused about the zikr? This is probably a final chance you can ask about this. So are we okay with the zikr? Yeah.
You mentioned 20 minutes throughout the day. Well, the other day you also mentioned that it could be like you could maybe split it, like maybe 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening. Could you do that?
Not split it as such. Basically, what I mentioned is if to say you've had a long day and shaitan is saying to you, don't do your zikr, don't. I said as a utmost worst situation, you're very ill, something's very wrong, at least do 5 minutes.
Alright, okay.
So as a worst, you just don't miss it, basically.
Yeah. Alright.
Don't, but try not to do it like that because it'll become very difficult. Once you sit for your zikr, stick to that time for your zikr, muraqabah together. That's the better methodology to do it. Yeah, but that was what I mentioned is if you're really struggling and you're struggling to for whatever reason something, you know, at least do something, a minimum of 5-10 minutes at least. So at least you've done some zikr for that day. It's better than completely missing it.
Alright, okay.
Okay. And there was another zikr which we were given from this side. Anyone? Do they remember? It was exactly a zikr, but more of a thought process.
Well, I don't know if that is what I said. Maybe somebody else.
Yeah, go on. Ask Doctor. Doctor's been very quiet past few days. Let's reignite him.
It's the one I think I don't know as well. But it's picturing Allah's name.
Yeah.
So focusing on that. I think it was 20 minutes as well.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. He's 10 days and he's reached, MashaAllah. No, I think 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
You can go on for as long as you want, but 10 minutes minimum.
And this is, from what I understand, communicating with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly, talking to them about.
So basically, first you picture the name of Allah. Oh, let me see, I think I've got it here. So let's go. So we got this zikr we've done. So basically the muraqabah dua basically. So first imagine the name of Allah, then you know it's in your mind, in your heart, and then just pondering about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, connecting, building a deep connection, being in that sort of connected mode, and then from there then you can go into your, you know, muraqabah dua, the presence of Allah, 7 blessings, 7 sins, 7 needs, 7 problems. So seek guidance, then you rely on Allah. Okay, so that's for 10 minutes, but if you want to carry on, by all means, you know, carry on, but minimum in the day 10 minutes. Okay, so one thing we didn't mention is the preparation for the Amals. What do we have to do before we do the Amals? Anyone? Brother Umar, is it? Yeah. What's the preparation? Before we start the Amals, how do you prepare?
So you get the 3 things. Allah's with you, Allah's watching, Allah's hearing you.
Okay.
Then you obviously read you read Surah Fatiha, Ayatul Kursi, and 3 Quls.
They're the protection Amals for the ascension, but for this we just have the preparation.
Oh, yeah, preparation. Sorry. Yeah, Astaghfirullah. And
how many times?
3 times.
Okay.
Durud Sharif and La Hawla Wa La Quwwata. Then.
And them, how many times you read them? How many times you read the Durud Sharif and La Hawla Wa La Quwwata?
3 times.
3 times. But before all of this, there's one thing you missed. Can anyone help him? Before Bismillah. before the presence. Intention. So I'm doing this for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
I thought that is already included.
Oh, that's already included. That's why I thought, because you're sitting there. You're doing
No, you have to make intention. You have to rectify that intention first. Because it may be that that day you might not have made so much money in your business, and your intention might be that Allah, I'm used to making a couple of grand a day, and it's not doing really, that's the wrong. We don't want none of that. We don't want that intention. So very important that you come home and you rectify that intention. So it's a pleasure of Allah and for the hereafter and salvation. Okay, so zikr, we know, preparation of Amals, that's good, mashallah. And then obviously, as they mentioned, we've got the tongue sheet, which everyone is familiar with, methodology. Let's quick fire. Brother Rizwan, mashallah. Were you here? I think someone explained it to you, the tongue sheet. Have you not? Okay, I don't think he was here. He had to get off for a bit. So brother, maybe Hamza or brother over here can help.
So what's the question?
Is it Zaid? Is it? No. Daniel? No. Thank you.
Shall I give it to him? Yeah?
Give it to him, yeah.
The deal.
Had to go through a few names there together. Okay, can you explain to this brother how to do the tongue sheet?
So every day you have the sins that you can commit with your tongue.
Can we have the sheet on here, please? Okay.
So every day that you go through without committing any of these sins, you get to partake. Or say one day, like you lie or you swear, you put a cross and you start over again.
Okay. Did you understand that, brother, fully? So do you think you could relay that back to me? Okay, give him that. Could you just leave the sheet on? Just keep it on. Yeah.
So the tongue sheet example is where you refrain from the sins of the tongue for a consecutive number of days, and if you fail on any of the consecutive number of days, you have to mark them. And the objective is obviously, if you fail, then you have to obviously start from scratch again, basically.
Right. So, but when you do fail, what do? You
have to mark a cross.
Mark a cross.
Yeah.
So, what did we say was key? What was the key thing? Does anyone remember Jazakallah for that? So you're familiar with that. I don't need to re-explain that to you. You understand that, yeah? So I did mention one thing when we did the present, that what is key about this sheet. Yeah.
To come back to it or continue to do.
Yes, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. The key is that every night you come back to your book, cross or tick, doesn't matter, but you make that cross or you make that. That is very important. You take that accountability. You do the muhasabah. That's the very important part. This is the whole purpose of it. Because like we said, a cross is also success because you've realized what you've done. So it's only a matter of time now where you're going to stop doing that. Or at a certain time, something's going to take in you and you think, you know what, I have that guilt, that remorse will keep building to such a point where eventually you'll walk away with the fazl and help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So remember, every night, every day, whatever time you've picked, whatever it is, that daily you put in your tick or your cross without failure. Okay, and then eventually when someone does 30 days, then speaking to their mentor, then obviously they'll move forward. Then we had the prayer sheet. Okay, one was the outward levels, which is fairly obvious there, so you don't want to miss, you try to follow all of this, obviously then you put a tick, as well as we have the spiritual prayer. Let me see who can get from you. Brother Ibrahim, mashallah, go on. Spiritual prayer. What level are we doing? How do we do it?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The minimum you should think once in your mind, in every posture.
Okay.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with us, hearing us and seeing us.
Okay. So, like you mentioned, so in each posture, in your mind, Uncle reminded me last time, I didn't say that, so make sure you don't say it out loud. You don't want to hear, people think you're gone crazy, he's come out of Itikaaf and he's speaking English in his namaz. Yeah, so don't do that. In your mind, in your heart, that Allah was watching me, Allah was with me, Allah was listening to me. In one posture, so you're standing, then you go ruku, again once, and again like this, following that procedure. Now, if you do that through the whole salah, then it's a tick. Yeah? If you miss it, then it's a cross. Yeah? Straightforward? Any difficulty? No? No, in regards to levels, the spiritual prayer.
So you've got...
Oh no, yeah, so these are your 5 that are outward, so physical aspect of the prayer. Yeah. And then you've got your spiritual level. So what...
So if you bring the sheet up...
this is the prayer sheet, yeah?
I can't see it.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Right, so things like not performing Sunnah Muqaddah, what is that exactly? And yeah, that's it really. I know the rest.
So you know what Sunnat Muqaddah is?
All right, okay. So the Sunnahs for
basically, this is why this is the very important part. Is the
but
fiqh
there's a
element.
difference of opinion. So I don't know what, like for example, let's say Isha namaz. Yeah. Some would say the Char Sunnah is a definite. You have to read that. Some would say that.
No, that's Gair Muqaddah. So you should read it, but if you missed it, you're not sinful. But however, if you continuously do it intentionally, then you will become sinful for it.
All right, okay.
So no Sunnah really should be missed.
Okay.
No Sunnah really should be, but there's some leniency with the Gair Muqaddah. But what it says when you do, I think I don't know if they're going to do it again. If you get a chance to ask Imam Qais, then ask him. But generally, this is the ruling that Muqaddah, you have to pray it. Gair Muqaddah, there's leniency, but if you keep missing it, it can become sinful and it can affect a person's journey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Okay.
So, what is, because we're in this notion that, it's a Gair Muqaddah, and we probably can't remember the last time we prayed it, but in fact, that impacts your heart as well. That has, because you're still missing a Sunnah. Remember, it was still a Sunnah for Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Yeah, okay.
So we got to keep that in mind. Yeah, but intentionally doing it is not the correct thing. We shouldn't have that intention that I'm not going to read it. We should always have the intention, because we're still going to get rewarded for it. You understand? But the fact that Prophet didn't read, that means there is leniency there. But that doesn't mean we have this mindset that because the Prophet didn't do it, I'm not going to do it. Do you understand? That was for our ease. But really, we should always have that intention that any Sunnah we can hold on to, we never let go of it. Because it could be because of that one action you may have done or I may have done more sincere than the Fard Salah. That could be the reason why we're going to Jannah.
Sometimes, these youngsters, these youngsters think, the nafil is only you can do it any time. So especially the Isha and Namaz, they try to cut it short. They leave the Gair Muqaddah Sunnat. They say, nafil, you can do it any time. What they do the Farz, 2 Sunnat and 3 Witrs. This is where we are going wrong. It's the shaitan that is putting it into us.
Correct, Uncle. But inshallah, hopefully through this retreat, inshallah, we'll teach brothers to become more steadfast. But yeah, it's the general consensus. Because they got boxing to watch that night or football to watch,
Yeah, there's a reason, not a proper reason, but people making excuses to.
Yeah, it's on our own behalf. May Allah give us the tawfiq and ability to, follow the norm.
So we need to feed the children now. They were saying about the Travis, 8 Travis. We did have this concept 5 years back in our town, but Alhamdulillah, now it's gone.
MashaAllah.
People, youngsters especially, they start doing 8 and running out of the mosque. Then slowly and slowly now, they're back to 20s again. But it's on the media, it's on a lot of different channels. They've been reading 8 and 10 and 12. That's what's affecting the kids.
That's true.
We need to be educated on these sort of things more.
It's like Uncle said, the Nawafil, even that, you got to make still a Sunnah. It's still an act of the Prophet's Sunnah. But how we should see it is, if we pray our Nawafil or Nafal prayer, that's protecting our Sunnats. And if we pray our Sunnats prayer, that's protecting our Fard. So if we stop that Nafal, eventually we may stop the Sunnats. If we stop praying the Sunnats, eventually we may stop praying the Fard. So you should see it as layers of protection for your Salah. No, only what's written here. Only what's written here.
Well, we've heard from the Madini's your Sunnah and Nafal. If you miss something in the Farz, they will make up for it. The Sunnah and the Nafal will make up for that.
I don't want to turn this into a fiqh lesson, so inshallah we'll.
No, they say, that's what the Imam Muhammadiyah tells you.
That's fine. So inshallah we're clear on the sheet aspect, prayer sheet, okay, the intention and keeping the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is watching me, Allah is with me in each posture, so from in each posture one time, okay, so that's, you've all got this in your books and it's written as well, so if you forget now, don't worry, everything's written in your book. Okay, now we got the sincerity ikhlas sheet. So it says it here, I've kind of put it there anyway. So in all major good deeds, e.g. 5 daily praise and 1 zikr, one should do them for the pleasure of Allah and in order to attain salvation and reward in the hereafter. One should check and refresh his intention in the beginning, middle and end. We're fairly clear on this, but we did say there's one difference with this sheet compared to every other sheet. Does everyone remember that? 90 days? Yeah, mashallah. So this particular sheet, you'll do it for 90 days, then you'll go for an update and get it marked to move on. Because as we mentioned, how important sincerity at our classes. So basically same thing again, cross till you get your 30 days. Now that's your 5 amals given to you, okay? Your zikr, your muraqabah, your 3 sheets. Okay, so we're clear on that, inshallah. But don't worry if you ever have problems or confusion, you're always going to have your support mentor, which inshallah we're going to go on to now. So the role of the mentee, yourselves. So what is your role is, number 1, to make a firm intention to start the 5 fundamental practices for the pleasure and closeness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So like we mentioned, we've not just come here just for spiritual experiences, but that's here to motivate us so we can become closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this life and in the hereafter. And these 5 fundamental practices are what are going to drive us there and give us that strong base. So you need to make a firm intention that no matter what happens, I'm going to stick to these. Like in the morning, if we've got work 8 o'clock, no matter how bad the night was before, even if we wake up 7:45, no matter what state we're in, we'll get to work 8 o'clock somehow, maybe 5:10. But we're gonna, if we know we need to go to work that day, we have to. Oh, we've just got a new job, we've just got a promotion, we've just got a new job, we've just got a promotion in a company that we've been aspiring to become for, aspiring to get. We worked all our life for this position. We're going to make sure on that day, or the rest of them days, we're there 8 o'clock. So then why should we not have the same sort of mentality and intention for the closeness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is more important than that promotion and work? So make that firm intention that no matter whatever time I've put, do you know what, I'm going to stick to that time. No matter what happens, that half an hour is for me and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Simple. All we're asking you to give half an hour's time in the day. Just put aside to Allah ta'ala and see how your life will change. What's that out of 24 hours? Half an hour. Just as little as half an hour you've been asked. Okay? To report back to your, support mentor there on your mentor, on a monthly basis. So basically you're going to have 2 people. One is a support mentor, one is your mentor like the Ustadh. So some of you have had one-to-ones. So those who've had one-to-ones, they're your main mentor, who will be the ones that will change your sheets. But we're going to go into that into a bit more detail later. So to report back regardless of any progress. So what this means is, this is a very important part. So you're going to have, it's meant to be 40 days or a monthly 30 to 40. So 40 days is when you should see your main mentor, like you've seen those stars upstairs. So whoever you've seen, that's going to be your mentor, long-term mentor, who you'll always go to now for your sheets, for your book, for updates, for spiritual experiences, and then, but this final point is very important. Report back regardless of any progress. Because the thing is, you might not think you're progressing, you might think you're not doing well, but by not going to them, you're going to make it even harder for yourself. And that's the most important time, is when you're not doing well. That's what they're there for, to make sure you can get back up and carry on. But if you're the problem, then how are you going to solve it yourself? If you're suffering from laziness, depression, or some family problems happen, something's took you a distraction, then you're not the best person for yourself at that time. It is your mentor, because they're the one who are going to pull you out from that situation. So that's why, even if there's no progress, you've not been doing that is more so important than you need to see your mentor. Because they will help you and guide you. That's their role, to help you and guide you to come out of that difficulty. And obviously when you're doing good, obviously they're there to help you to carry on progressing and tell you, maybe you think you've done the tongue sheet well, maybe they've noticed something, maybe you're on the mind sheet or your sincerity sheet, maybe you think, yes, I've done my 90 days, and they say, no, start again. Yeah, so that's why it's very important. We might think we're flying, but ultimately that's their job to assess that. So they will assess that for us. Our job is just to do, their job is to assess. So both are just as important, but in my opinion, what's more important is the fact that when you're not doing so well, is that you go and see them, because that is where you need their help the most. And that is what, therefore, to help you to bring yours. So never have that. And shaitan will try to trick you. Oh, look at you. How could you go in front of your mentor? You've done this, you've done that. You know, you like this, you like that. But that is actually what they're there for, is to help with that. So that is what it means to have a mentor on the way, on the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That they're there to help you, not to judge you. You know, this is what this path teaches, that you don't judge a person. The creation of Allah ta'ala. It's the sin that you hate. Don't hate the sinner, hate the sin. And that is the mentality the mentors have. That they're not there to, they're there to help you progress. They're there to help you to take to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everyone does some sort of sin. So don't come with that mindset that, oh, I'm like this, I can't see my mentor, you know, I've done this, I've done that. So remove that, see that as a shaitanic thought, and to report back regardless of any progress. But like I mentioned, your mentor or the Ustadh, you probably see him every 40 days maybe as a minimum. They will not always be able to be there to text you, to ring you, so to help you with that. So just say you've got some inquiry, some thought, you just want a general chat, you'll have a support mentor who will be like, you can say like a friend basically, you know, just there to keep you on track, to keep you from your monthly meetings, so that you feel down, you don't want to see a mentor, so you might speak to your support mentor. So here to help and motivate you along your spiritual journey, to help and support you with any difficulties, the 5 fundamental practice, to discuss and assess your progress. So what we mean by assess is they just help you, to keep you motivated. You know, you might say, look, you know what, I've not done really well this month, how am I going to see my mentor? So they'll be there to, look, brother, you know what, carry on, what is it? You know, so you might want to discuss some things with them before you go to him, and maybe they might help you to how to present yourself to your mentor with what etiquette you should have, because even there's an etiquette we should have. You know, this journey is not just based on what you do in terms of, you know, reading Quran, doing your zikr, but it's also the respect you have for your mentor, respect you have for your teacher. This is very important as well. And if you cannot respect the means that's helping you, how will you expect to receive from them? You know, if we look at exams, you can't just come in there and exam and slouch, have your phone out, do what you want, write an exam. There's conditions. You have to sit in a certain way, you have a certain time, you have to be focused, you cannot speak. Similarly, it's the same with our mentors. There has to be certain adab, and this is where the support mentor's role will help you. He will explain to you how that works, how you should be. You know, with them you can be a bit more open, more like a friend sort of a thing. But your mentor, there's got to be a level of respect for them, you know, for us to be able to benefit from them. Okay, so that's their role. So that, inshallah, once we go through the process of signing up, they will be allocated to you. And generally speaking, it will be someone from your area. So inshallah, it will be someone who you know. Like if you're from Oldham, it might be someone from there, from Manchester, from Nelson. Someone either you've met, or if you've not met, they'll be from your area, and inshallah you'll be able to build some sort of relationship. But we'll make sure it's someone that can, you know, basically do these tasks, motivate you, help you, you know, keep you motivated, keep, you know, if there is any inquiries, you can ask them. Okay? So this, you know, generally we'd say, you know, just to touch base, maybe initially weekly, then it could be like every 2 weeks. And you know, then, you know, obviously after that you'll have your mentors meeting as well. But initially we say, you know, touch base every week. Just, you know, because it's new, it's like, you know, you're riding a bike for the first time. You're going to get confused here and there. Some things are not, till you get a bit of a flow, it might get to a point where you might not require a support mentor anymore. You'll just have your main mentor. So that will be the sort of aim. But initially, to ensure, you know, you're doing the processes right, which is very important, i.e. the zikr correctly, the sheets correctly, because if they're not done correctly, that can also affect your journey. So that's why we give a support mentor, to ensure that them initial days you set the standard correct. So once it's set, you've got the right understanding, you know what you're doing practically, then you may not need a support mentor after that. Okay, so that's just to help you to carry on. And then eventually you have the ustads and ustadas. Same for the sisters, the same, they have ustadas as well who will help them. They've got their mentors, inshallah, they will message the sisters individually also. So here we mentioned it, to assess your progress, to give permission to change your sheets or zikr. Very important. We cannot change anything. What we've been given, until the ustad say you can change it, or Hazrat Sahib has instructed yourself, then nothing can be changed. You carry on. Okay, unless there's an instruction being given, you can, and it's against etiquette to ask to change, because then we're saying we know better than the person who's tutoring us. So you might be on the tongue sheet for 3-4 months thinking, why is it not changing? There might be something there that you don't know, but they're realizing. Not necessarily, and this is another role, that sometimes there might be diseases in our heart that we might not realize on the onset, but something has to occur that the mentors might direct us, that it might appear, and then we become aware of it. So this is why we should never ask, say, oh, can you change the zikr, or can you do the change the sheet? I've done the tongue sheet now 2 months. Well, no, this is against the etiquettes. When they say change, that is when you will change. So this is, you could say, one of the etiquettes. Provide feedback for your spiritual experience. So this is another important part, is that your spiritual experiences are only for your mentors, your ustads. So the ones who you met upstairs, only for them. Nobody else you should be relating spiritual experiences to. And we have a group where you can put them on, which you're all going to get added to, which I'm going to go into a little bit more detail. If it's not on the group or to your ustad, then do not relate it, even to your support mentor. You can ask for help, like Lataifs, this, you can, but then your actual experiences, what's happening, and that's only because they're the only ones who are qualified to interpret it. So if someone else interprets to you and gives you the wrong meaning, you might think something, and it can become dangerous. So that's why you should only tell your spiritual visions, anything. Obviously take a diary, note them down, and then when you go for your monthlies, something you might need to discuss with them, then you can discuss that with them as well. And that's another reason why you need to keep going to them, because they will help you with your spiritual progression as well. So through that spiritual journey. So they're not just mentoring you from your physical journey, but also for your spiritual journey as well. They'll be mentoring you as well. Okay. Provide solutions for any specific difficulties which support mentors cannot help with. This is another reason why it's important, because a person might have spiritual illnesses. You know, might be other problems affecting them that the support mentor may not be able to deal with. So they will deal with these, or maybe someone has a very severe addiction and they need some sort of, you know, methodology which the ustads are qualified to give. They'll give a certain methodology. Or someone's going through some other problems, very severe marital problems. You know, and they need, these are all, ustads are also qualified to deal with marital problems. Alhamdulillah, they've qualified in many things, such as this marital problems, you know, addictions, you know, different things like this, which can affect your journey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's where the ustad's role will come into, you know, deal with you, to discuss these things with you, you know, to tell you what's the right way of doing it, how it's affecting you spiritually. So these sort of things you can discuss with your ustad also. Okay, now finally, what we're going to get you to do is, before you leave, is we need you to sign up. And this is why I needed your phones. Now, this is so important. If you do not sign up now, I can't assign you your support mentor or get on with the mentoring and keep up. Because the reason why we ask you to do this is so we can keep track of what's going on. So we can keep track of what's going on, see how you're getting on, see how things are, you know. So and if you don't do this, then it's very difficult. So what I'll ask you now, has everyone got internet on their phone? Whoever's not, just raise your hands and we'll give you a sheet. We can do it afterwards. Okay, that's fine. With the Jabir, there's so all you need to do is now.
So there's a question on Zoom about, is there a difference between existing mentor and support?
No, so basically, if you've already got a mentor, that's fine. So if you're doing well with them, the support mentor really is only just on the initial stages to help people get familiarized with the methodology, with the sheets. It may come to a point where you don't need that support anymore. So it's not, you know, if someone's already on the path and they mashallah, the meeting, they get, you know, they're getting to their meetings every month, alhamdulillah, that's good. Alhamdulillah, can continue. So yes, but Naveed. Okay. I think majority have got. Do you need something to do on the? Yeah. Okay. Do you wanna? That's fine. Yeah, brother Naveed will. Jazakallah. So basically, I'm just gonna. So propheticpath.co.uk. I'm just gonna show you now what to do. So hold on, just give me a second. So if you go on the website propheticpath.co.uk. Now on the phone, you have to scroll right to the bottom, and it'll say brothers register for your one-to-one mentor. Okay. So if you just click on that, and then you just need to fill this form in for us. Okay, and we need all the information. Now, whichever mentor you've seen, please put it in here, so then we know that that's your mentor then. Whoever mentor you've already seen in this 10-day Itikaaf, then put it in here. Okay, then we're going to keep them. So they're just other generic stuff like what are your hobbies, if you have any friends that does, you know what I mean? So that if you want to put that, you can. If you don't, you know, it's up to you. But the ones which I got obviously the dots on, they're essential information we need. So I'm just going to give you maybe like 5 minutes to do this. Shouldn't take longer than that, and then inshallah we'll just continue. If you need any help, just raise your hands if you need any help with doing this. And also for the international brothers, not to worry, because obviously we have international mentors like yourself, Dr. Ashfaq, and these brothers, inshallah. You know, they'll be aware as well, inshallah. So it's okay, you can sign up, there's no problem.
Assalamu alaikum. Basically, I want to ask you a question. My mentor is Abdul Rahim. I've had him from 2011.
MashaAllah.
And alhamdulillah, and I believe he's brilliant anyway. You know, I big him up nicely in that sense. But do I need a second or anything? Or
alhamdulillah, that's
am I exempt then, yeah?
That's
okay.
fine,
Jazakallah khair.
And you, I can support what if you need any other, you can speak to me on Facebook.
Yeah, please, because we need, it's very important, and I know you've officially got your mentors, but this is for our database then, so we can keep on top of, to make sure that you're getting the support you need. So we have to keep on top of all this, so it's very important so that we know who's registered with who, so when it comes to your meetings and stuff, so it can be arranged accordingly. Propheticpath.co.uk. Hold on, it's just here on here. Can you see it? It's on the top there. I don't want to do that. I might just mess up. Oh, do presentation. Oh, yeah, 1 second. 1 second. Yep. So it's here. Propheticpath.co.uk. If it comes up. Yeah. Oh. Sorted. Sorry? Date is, yep, the first, yeah. Now, even if you're a mashallah brother who's been coming for a while, you can also register as well. So we have your record as well, if we're not, in case, you know, your mentor needs to speak to us about your progress. So he might have words with you, knock on your door. So don't think you can escape this as well. So Jabbi, make sure you get your name down. Not yet, inshallah, we're working on the app. We're working on the app. We have got an app coming, inshallah, so that's going to make... So this basically is for ourselves, the podium, basically the website which you're seeing, it's for our own day, but you will get a user-friendly one as well. Yeah.
It's okay, I can't see the thing. That's
okay. Imran, can you keep the screen on, please, because the brother's still... Yeah, do you want to sit down? You can see it now, inshallah. You have to see it. Is brother done? Yeah, sorted. MashaAllah. Okay. Shama, you registering as well? MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Uncle sorted? Okay. Okay, fair enough. Brother's done, yeah? Sorted, MashaAllah. It's good. Just trying to make sure everyone's... Yeah, go on. Okay. Okay, mashallah.
He's done a lot for 20 years. He reckons he doesn't need a mentor or teacher. Does he? I personally believe he needs a teacher to guide him.
Yeah.
I think he doesn't need it.
Okay.
He needs a mentor or teacher or how would you explain that?
I wouldn't know. You'd have to bring him down and we have to get him assessed. Oh, mashallah. Okay, are we done yet? So I don't want to hold you on for too long. Is everyone? Don't know. I thought everyone would be tech savvy by now. How long have we had the phones for iPhones? Used to touch phones. Mashallah. Okay, so I'm going to give you 1 more minute now. No pressure. 1 minute and then we're going to continue because we need to finish this presentation. Yourselves need to rest as well, inshallah. I'm sure half an hour rest will be okay. Okay, inshallah, we're going to just continue now. So whoever's doing, you can just carry on. So the last thing which I wanted to show you is you can probably do, as soon as we finish, you can carry on if you're not done. Final thing is basically how you can stay connected, what you can do. So we don't just have these one-off programs, we have regular and consistent programs as well to help, the seeker on his way. And it's like you could say your weekly dosage. So your zikr is like your daily dosage, and you can say this is like an extra on top of that to keep you going. And you get to see the brothers, you get to hear the bayan, you get to see the teacher. It makes a big difference. So this is like you could say your connection as well to us. So so you don't feel like you're on your own. And honestly, the majlis it's a game changer. This is one of the things that keep people going as well. Ask the brothers who come regularly to the majlis how it's impacted them. Because it's just like basically how you had Hazrat Saab's main session, that Zohar session, how does it make you feel? The mindset, how does it change your daily? Maybe, you've had something in the week and it's affected you, and you'll come to the bayan and it'll completely change your mindset. If a person, stays consistent on the majlis, that alone will keep him steadfast for the full week to do his zikr, to do his amals. If he stays steadfast on that. That itself is the greatest motivator. But now we have a lot of distractions, and that's why you have the support as well. But they're like basically our bread and butter. It's like me, I would, if I don't attend majlis, I feel like my week's not gone right. That's how important I find it. That without this, it feels like the week's just been ruined. So now we have 2. One is the Friday gathering, which is general nasiyah, like you've had the main like after Zohar session, and then like you have the Durood Majlis, we have like a 20-minute dhikr as well. So we have a bayan and then the dhikr, and that'll be in every week. It's in different centres. Usually it's around about 7:30, and you'll get a message. So because we're going to put you on some groups as well, where you'll get all the information of the majlis dates, times, the different things. So not to worry about that. So you'll have your Friday gatherings. And then you'll have Monday gathering, which is for your ascensions. So that's very important as well, because we do a collective ascension like we do before Zohar, but we'll do that on a Monday again around about 7:30. So you'd come there, even if you can't make it, if it's too far from you, you can come online, join online, and that's where you get to, that really helps your experience heighten and help you to sort of travel spiritually, and it also helps you with your physical path as well. And obviously you get to relate visions on that day. If you're having problems, generally you can ask as well. The opportunity is there to ask. So that's a very important majlis. So both are very, very important majlises. So you got one at the start of the Monday majlis, which is basically for your ascensions. So you do a collective ascension. That's to help you improve with that. And then you got your Friday majlis, which is your general nasiyah. It's just to sort of help you to keep you focused on the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Any sort of things during the week that may have made your mind cloudy, affected you, is to help to get rid of that and sort of re-energize you, refresh your mind so you're ready to take on the rest of the week again. Okay, so there are 2 gatherings. Like I mentioned, don't worry, through your support button you're going to get added to the different groups as well. So like you see here, we've got a Facebook group. So if you're on Facebook, we've got a Prophetic Path group where we have like daily posts, daily reminders. Yeah. 7:30 they are. About 7:30. But don't worry, through your support mentor you're going to get the mesh and you're going to get added to the Breeze group anyway. And that's basically another thing, which is where you're allowed to relate your experiences. So all your experiences should be related on there. The Ustadh are on there, the teacher on there as well. So they'll always be observing basically your experiences, and they'll reply on there as well. If it's something very, very personal, then obviously, you know, you can speak to it about your mentor directly when you go for your one-to-one. But general experience, generally, you know, you can post on it, there's no issue. You know, if you're comfortable with it, then there's no problem. If you're not, then you can speak to your mentor directly about it, or if you've been instructed otherwise. But so that you're all going to be added onto that Breeze group, and that is basically for your experience and nothing else. It's not a social, anything like this. You don't need to respond to anyone on there. It's just experience, and you just leave it there. And then, you know, if Ustadh replies, then he replies. And if not, then they may reply, you know, individually. If your mentor recognizes who it is, then, you know, they'll reply individually. And then finally, we have another WhatsApp group, which is just like a general Q&A one. So one is basically like we had Professor Naveed, mashallah, who was here. You may have seen him. He was sitting at the front. Anything to do with Islam generally, fiqh, masalas, any problems, question-wise, just generally. Mashallah, he can answer them. So he posts it and he'll answer them. Anything to do with the path, then those Ustadhs will answer them. So you might have like how even after Fajr we have like an opportunity to ask questions. So this is a group now, live 24-hour group. If you've got a question, oh, you know what, how do I do this? Like even if maybe about the sheets you want to ask something, maybe you can't get through to your support mentor or something, maybe he's gone on holiday, you can't get through to, you want to ask a question, you can just put it on that group. Maybe your mentor with your meetings another 2 weeks, put it on that group, you'll get an answer. So that group's there for that. So it's got your general questions, and then you've also got this, the question relating to the path, the sheets, whatever it is. So then also we've got our YouTube channel, Tareeqah Muhammadiyah. So if you're on the go, you can't attend Majlis, then you can watch them on YouTube. Everything's there, so it'll be live. When it's live, it's on there. There's so many previous lectures on there. You know, if you're on a long drive or you want to, you know, just learn more about the path, there's hundreds, there's an archive of lectures by Hazrat Sahab, loads and loads about the path, which, you know, very in detail, in depth. Here you've had like you could say like a bit of an overview, but that is in much more depth about the path. So if you're someone who's eager to learn more, you want to learn more, you want to understand the path more in more depth, then there's loads there. But our weekly ones will also be on there, the Monday and the Friday. So for whatever reason you can't make it, you're ill or whatever, then, you know, from home at least you can watch it, or your family can watch it also. So inshallah, this is, you know, basically the aftercare plan, you know, we have for yourselves. You know, inshallah, we try to make it as best possible experiences for yourself. So inshallah, and just as a default, you will get a message maybe from myself as well, just with my details. So from an admin point of view, if there's any problems you're facing, like your support mentor, you can't get in touch or something, or you know, you can't understand something that's going on, any sort of issues, you can just message myself. So you'll get them details for that number as well. And just as basically, just say as an emergency point of contact, you can contact myself, then however I can deal with it, and inshallah I will deal with it. So inshallah, if there's any questions you may ask, if not, then we can inshallah conclude on this session. Yep, is that fine? Okay. Jazakallah for your time. Inshallah. Subhanakallah.